y'all, and welcome to the Healthy by Heather Brown podcast, where I encourage you in healthy mind, body, and spirit through my Sunday reset. Let's get into it. Hey, girl gang, and welcome back to another episode of Healthy by Heather Brown. I know I say this every week, but truly this week, so excited. What I'm going to say to you is I want you to expect miracles out of this show. And you're going to laugh. Like, why would you say that, Heather? But if you're watching this on YouTube or on Instagram Reels or what have you, you'll see that Dr. Tony Ebel that's going to come in a moment. He is wearing a shirt that says, expect miracles. And funny story about how Dr. Ebel actually ended up here on the show. He does not know this, but he knows part of it. But I went to a mastermind that Dr. Josh Axe put on in Franklin, Tennessee. And Dr. Axe has been on the show before, so I'll link back to his prior episode. But y'all, I had almost like a prophetic prayer over me from a mom's small group. And they were talking about like just praying like, God, we feel you're going to bring miracles in Heather's life. Like, please prosper her business. Please like give her, strength with her family, her faith, all the things going on with her calling on her life. And we just ask you would help her to expect miracles. And then y'all, I walk into this conference in Nashville and there's Dr. Ebel getting ready to like lead and host for the weekend, this whole conference. And he's wearing a shirt that says, expect miracles. And I literally was like, God is here and he sees me. And it was just such a cool, small, but mighty, powerful God moment for me. And so with all that said, if you don't know who Dr. Ebel is, he has a great personality. He's a pediatric chiropractor. He really does a nervous system focus with kids. And you guys are going to gain so much out of this about how to connect mind, body, and spirit for you as a parent and how to really make a powerful impact on your kids' lives, in their health, all around health. And he also has a podcast, the Experience Miracles podcast, which obviously I cannot wait to be diving into in the future. So with all that said, Dr. Tony Ebel, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, homie, for having me. I tell you, I wear these shirts. I love my job for a zillion reasons, all the way down to the quote unquote professional attire. I get to wear t-shirts that say expect miracles and hope dealer. The fun joke on that, we'll just kick it off with a dad joke on here. Usually when I get on a plane or a coffee shop, people always think I'm like a youth pastor, right? With an expect miracles t-shirt. And it's a great opening to be like, well, I'm on a mission and I love Jesus, but I also adjust. And so I also have that too. And the other thing is I was getting in on the podcast and getting ready to go with this. I would say God has me perfectly fit for girl gang. As you introduced, I can't do your amazing accent, but I have 3 daughters, an incredible wife and then my son, Oliver. I told him real early, I was like, man, you want a happy life like I have. You're going to get married real young and just do exactly what these powerful, incredible, God-driven women tell you to do. And if it is just a blissful existence. And then God gave him 3 sisters. So he has got no choice anyway. So girl gang, what's up, everybody? I feel like I'm at home.
What's up, girl gang? They're the best. They are the best. So Dr. Ebel, tell us a little bit about your family, how you got started in chiropractic. We'd love to hear your background and how God did miracles in your life.
Totally. Yeah. He's been directing it the whole time. We all have a lot of chapters and I feel like mine definitely is pretty darn sequential. And so I'll try and get some brevity out of it. But when I was in high school, I love helping people. I'm a straight up farm kid, like small town Iowa, corn, cattle, soybeans, used to throw bales around and pull weeds out. And so I just didn't grow up with chiropractic. I didn't grow up with natural health. I mean, I didn't grow up with any of this. I grew up with Doritos and Mountain Dew, but I wouldn't say we really grew up. Yeah. I wouldn't say we really grew up medical either. So that was probably a blessing. And I was in high school and I had to do this workplace readiness assignment. And I am awesomely, God has given me just a healthy dose of ADHD. I'm a raging bull, full steam dude, but now he's given me chiropractic and wellness to balance and calibrate it. So it's become a superpower. Well, back then it probably wasn't. And so I put off this thing until the very last day. And I had to go. I knew healthcare, right? I wanted to work with my hands and I'm a science nerd. I love the nervous system. I love anatomy and I love health. So I went and shadowed a chiropractor to fulfill this assignment because my buddy's uncle was a chiropractor, and this is the guy that let me in. Like I called him the day of. I'm like, can I come by? And I'll never forget it, you guys. And, many of us have had these God moments. And I didn't know it from Adam, right? I don't think I'd ever said the word for 17, 18 years. And I just sat there all day, and this guy and his wife, they were both amazing chiropractors. They were so happy serving. They were working with their hands. Their patients were coming in, and their patients were happy to be there. And their patients were healthy and asking health questions, not sickness questions. And I thought I had landed in some, some mystical place that did, because everything else I saw in healthcare, God bless those that do, hospitals and medical systems. But I'm wired for the good. Right. I'm wired for the positive. And so God just sent me chiropractic that day, signed up for it, went to Iowa State, go Cyclones. Iowa's God's country. It's the Cyclone State, not the Hawkeye State. Then chiropractic school, met my wife there. So we got married real young and started our family. I was going to be Mr. Wellness. I grew up kind of in chiropractic, as I say it, in this wellness era. So much of what we now know, awesomely, with natural health, chiropractic's been beating that drum for a long time. We just didn't have the internet and podcasts so that the real message could get out. So those that had more clout, more money, shut down this. So anyways, loved wellness and built a practice, started a practice that was going to does take care of everybody. But it didn't have a pediatric obsession and focus early on. But 2 weeks before we graduated, my first baby, Miss Addison, was born. And we all have this, right? When you have your kiddos and God gives you that unreal, indescribable blessing. And also now I was like, CrossFit athletes and runners, I don't want to take care of those schmucks. Yeah, I want to take care of it. They just get them better and then they go screw themselves up again. I'm just going to take care of pregnant moms and babies. And I literally 2 weeks before graduation completely changed my whole business model, my whole purpose, and God just directed it. And so I started taking all these advanced classes, and the last chapter, big catalyst chapter, then 2 years into practice. And I'm kind of like living two chiro lives, because you only learn how to do regular chiropractic in school. That's why most chiropractors aren't pediatrics. They're not nervous system focused. They're good. No, helping people with back pain, awesome, right? Because better than drugs and surgery and opioids. And helping people with wellness, awesome. But this niche came to me through training and mentorship. But then on my third year of practice, Memorial Day of that year, our little miracle man, Oliver, was born. And he was born early, and he had a traumatic brain injury, very traumatic birth. Wow. And he was supposed to not live until they gave us a 20% chance. The medical experts, I know you can't see me on a podcast, I'm finger quoting, the experts in health, and said he had a 20% chance to live. And if he did live past 99% chance of cerebral palsy and epilepsy, because his hypoxic brain injury was so bad. And it was. They were not wrong on that. They were completely wrong on the outcome, because all they knew was drugs and medications and hope things. I love hope, but it's not a real great action strategy. God gives us hope and then, a downloadable PDF that says, here's what you're supposed to do and take action on it. Well, he doesn't really send a PDF. It'd be nice.
That'd be real nice
for clarity. It'd be real nice, right? And, but Oliver got all the way better. Medicine saved him. Surgeries, medication, 6 weeks in the NICU, helicopter ride. He's a medical miracle, and I love it and have reverence for that emergency medical system.
Yes.
But then I was already a trained and ready pediatric chiropractor, so I adjusted him 2 to 3 times a day to get him out of a sympathetic storm, activate his parasympathetic vagal nerve tone, all this nerdy stuff that is, what we teach others. And he left the hospital. No seizures, no meds, his MRI and his EEG, which had clear brain damage, which medical neurologists still today, still 15 years later, say you can't heal from. And it was literal evidence of it. And he lives a full, vibrant life. And so I have never shut up even a little bit about pediatric chiropractic and birth trauma since Oliver. I was already moving there. Now we're all there. Now God said, I've given you, Oliver, this greatest blessing. Take it to the world.
Wow. Yeah. I'm like, my brain's on fire. I'm like, where do I start? So many questions. But I mean, just truly a miracle. That's incredible. And how amazing that God, it's so interesting when we get to see the tiniest little glimmer or glimpse of what God's purpose was in something. And the fact that you did that last minute and then you knew what trajectory to take. And then God used it in your son's life. Wow. So first of all, how old is your son? Number one, and now, and number two, what ramifications of all that do you see, if any, now? And so start there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's unreal. If you could see Oliver, everybody right now listening, if you just imagine like this 15-year-old dude who could eat like crap all day, yet still be chiseled, right? Because we were all 15 at one time and had that metabolism. So he hasn't worn sleeves in about a year and a half because he's jacked. His girlfriend, who is a farm girl, like rides horse, just moved down the road. So he literally is. I can't even describe you how this kid's living his best life right now. He's my boy, right? So he's so healthy, like perfect hair. He's got so much humility and hard work. He's got God close to his heart at all times, and he walks with Jesus. And he's just, Oliver's our miracle man. And then his three sisters just are amazing and keep life spicy. But he's actually our chill dude. Like I look at him and I'm like, and the only remnant, he actually had cardiopulmonary issues too. He had to have heart-lung bypass surgery called ECMO. So every kid, I'm in all these Facebook groups and YouTube groups, other groups that, kids had the same birth and the same surgery and the same, medical crisis he did. They all not only have seizures and neurological challenges, they're asthmatic and allergies and immune system challenges because his start there was he wins cross-country races. My wife is a marathon runner, so he's got that from her. This kiddo, when every day, like if I ever have and those happen even to me, a discouraging, kind of defeating day, I just go find Oliver. And I know how cheesy that sounds, but I'll just go look at him and I'll just see his smile and his health and his life and go, all right, God, fueled up, refueled, recharged. I see this. You gave us, and now there's Olivers all over the world with pediatric chiropractic that we've either been able to, take care of or train the chiropractor, reach them with the podcast and the content. So yeah, Oliver, you just could see his scars on his neck and his chest. And that is the only way you would ever know he had such a tough beginning.
Unbelievable. So when you talk about that, it makes me think about how God is so clear in the Bible, and I just heard this in a sermon recently, so it's top of mind, but how God really told the Israelites and everyone to make sure to keep proselytizing all the things that God has done in your life and to help your kids have that experience of seeing you watch miracles and see how God moved. And when we share that with our kids and or keep that same perspective, how much it really helps us through day-to-day life and impacting their lives. And I mean, just so much more to come. So that's amazing. Awesome. And then you mentioned this slightly, and I kind of want to dive into it. So you probably don't know this, but I've had Dr. Dan Sullivan on the podcast as well. I'll link back to his episode because you mentioned something about like the deep, dark, like side of the medical industry. Me and Dr. Dan talked all about that. So y'all can go back and listen to that episode. Did
he take you down the Flexner report? Did you let Dr. Dan cook and just go right into it? Yeah. Okay. I got you. He's my best buddy.
We went in deep down the rabbit hole. But anyway, I'm going to like skim the rabbit hole with you. So talk to us a little bit about, because you said something that I was like, whoa, I've never heard that perspective before on stage. And I was in a room full of all chiropractors basically and health professionals. And so I was the only like podcaster and influencer that was invited to this conference. I was so honored to be there. But everyone else was shaking their head like, yeah, duh. But the comment you made was and I was like, oh, really? You made some comment about like pediatrics and how like maybe it's not, it shouldn't be your end all be all essentially in relation to your kid's health. But to me, that was mind blowing. And if it was mind blowing for me, I can only imagine what other parents listening to this are thinking. So do you mind just explaining that a little bit more for the layperson?
Sure. For sure. It is actually our foremost, it's our very strategic mission with what we do within pediatric chiropractic. And it's not because, the people affiliated with this are bad, but the system really is. And it is designed for the outcomes we have, which is the sickest generation of kids in the world. Now, not only are they a big part of creating that, they have no way to help you get out of that. And it's better off for the industry if your kids stay in it. So actually, when you look at the full deep, dark rabbit hole of medical takeover, it begins with our kids. And I always like to say it's actually hidden right in plain sight. It's one of those things that is literally just so accepted and so normalized that we go to the pediatrician, who is a sickness and disease expert, has literally 0% training on health promotion, preparation, adaptability, resilience, functional neurology, nutrition. The list goes on. They don't know it. And we go there for health. And we go there for well baby checks. And there's no wellness being created out of those checks at all. There's a chart, there's a survey, there's another conversation for another day. You want to talk about a rabbit hole? Yeah. So I don't even go.
I like part two. He's coming back, guys. He's coming back.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, part 200. And so you end up with an outcome primarily of fear. There is no other choice. You come here for everything, right? You come here for well checks, you come here for sick checks. And when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So now this system of what we call the perfect storm, actually, I said it wrong. It actually begins with pregnancy, because instead of pregnancy being celebrated, you go to the doctor and you have to get diagnosed as pregnant. And then it's all fear and it's all anxiety and it's all disempowerment. And God forbid you got pregnant after the age of 35. We're going to need to do 47, ultrasounds and 82 tests and just scare the living heck out of you. And so this neurology, so my expertise is in neurodevelopment, and the way God designed us humans, beautiful babies, which is where we all began in utero, is the nervous system develops first. It's the very first thing because it's the master control. So before there's a heart, before there's lungs, before there's arms, before there's eyes, there has to be air traffic control. And there has to be a power system to run it all. So God's design, and I've studied anatomy and neurology like probably nobody on earth. And I've still got a list of questions a mile long when I get up there. Like, why'd you put the vagus nerve there? That's kind of weird when I look at it. I got all these questions. I'm going to show up and God's going to be like, gosh, this guy's got a lot of questions. But I feel like he sees that coming.
Yes,
and
sure.
So, yeah. So you have this incredible design. And here's what our kids' nervous systems and development towards health is immediately derailed by. Number one, fear, stress, anxiety, which is the whole medical system. Second, physical birth trauma. So my real specialty within this specialty, which was Oliver, and I was already studying it and built clinical protocols. And then, like you said, God said, here's clarity. Birth trauma. So forceps and vacuum and emergency C-section, they're very physically traumatic to the neck, the spine, and therefore the nervous system, because that's the hub between the brain and the body. So the vagus nerve, the autonomic nervous system, everything that controls, not just heart and lungs, but immune system function, motor function, speech function, socialization is there. And then toxins show up. And they show up earlier and oftener than they ever should as well. So we call it the 3 T's in chiropractic. And that's what's different. It's the medical system that is literally putting these stressors and these environmental triggers into our kids' path earlier, not just quantity. This isn't just a dosage problem. That's a part of it. But it's the earlier that a kiddo is derailed neurologically, God designed us to be plastic, and that's supposed to, ideally go smooth and optimal. Well, the earlier it goes off track, the bigger it goes off track, or the worse. I'm such a glasses half full guy. I can't say bad, once a minute, but like the worse it gets, Wow. And so that's the message for us, is to say toxins, it's a big deal. But if we continue to trust the pediatrician primarily and singularly with the health of our kids, that's not the outcome we want. It's going to go down the road, which is now proven statistically, scientifically, it's there. We're here, and now PX docs and pediatric chiropractors, we exist. I don't love the word alternative, honestly. That's not my word. We exist for a foundational health building path. So most of our patients, we are their first call. We are their first stop for wellness and for sickness. And then we are first line of defense. We are trained doctors. We're on the same par in terms of our training. People who are a real doctor, they use that voice too. I don't know why, and it's like, well, yeah. Well, if you check my student loan debt, feel like I am. But anyways, I'm rambling here. We have the ability to assess when a crisis is there, and then we make the referral into the medical system for that only, because that's what they're good at.
Yeah.
So we are looking to, gosh, I gave you the whole enchilada there, homie. That we are looking to literally flip pediatric healthcare on its head, because then our kids will learn God-given health principles of building health, being responsible for our health, and taking the actions that give it to us, not just become victim mentality and dependent upon medicine, which is what the system wants.
Oh my gosh, 100% yes. Yeah, so many things. Number one, tell me one more time the 3 T's. We've got toxins. I don't know if I got the other two.
Yep. Toxins, traumas, thoughts. And if you go through in a pediatric development, so toxins is chemical stress. Trauma is it's a fun little acronym, the 3 T's, been written about in chiropractic for 120 years. So toxins, chemical, trauma, physical. Obviously it can also go emotional, but that kind of gets its own one with thoughts and emotions.
Okay.
And if you measure them out, when you go through actually a case history, this is what I really figured out with the perfect storm. About 70 to 80% of the kiddos we see with neuro spectrum sensory challenges, there was a lot of stress, thoughts in the pregnancy. And then 95% of the cases have some kind of documented physical trauma at birth.
Wow.
And then that weakens their neurogastroimmune system and makes them more susceptible to toxins. So they're all bad. But if you had to rank them, and I know you didn't even ask me this, but I love doing this.
Yes,
if you had to rank, if you had to rank them, the thoughts, the mental emotional stress is the worst because it's perpetual, and then physical trauma, especially to the neck and the brainstem, because that leaves us susceptible to toxins. So I don't know that too many people have thought, geez, why are we so sensitive? Like our environment has actually been full of toxins for about 3 to 4 generations. Now, I'm not giving them a get out of jail free card, son of a gun, no. But our neurological and immunological resilience and detox pathways have been shut down by stress, more so for this last generation or two, which is why we have so much chronic illness in kids.
Golly, that's just huge. When we're talking about this, it makes me think, for the mom that is like, okay, well, now I'm like, completely overwhelmed, didn't know any of this. Now, my only, help when I have, a sick kid or I've got these ongoing underlying issues with my kids. Because what I'm hearing you say is that it's a lot about what we talk about here, which is mind, body, spirit. It's all interconnected.
Yes, ma'am.
It's unbelievably interconnected. And I think that's why I'm so drawn to chiropractic care and that thought process instead of traditional medicine. But what I guess are some beginning steps for moms who are like, and now what?
Yeah, 100%. So there's 2 ways to look at this when you understand the perfect storm and what's really causing our kids to get sick. And this is where I think God has given me a blessing. And I'm so glad
Can I pause you before that? Will you tell Dr. Tony a little bit about maybe some numbers? Like how bad is it with this generation and obesity and all the things?
It's
bad.
Man.
I know.
This is, you know what? Truth be told, because, oh my goodness, this is such an how God wired me. So I write all these articles for our website. If you love to read, go to pxdocs.com, parents, and we have all the research and the stats there. And they're in every article that I write. And I'm such a pansy. I will skim over them. I'm like, I don't want to read them because they just tick me off and they make me sad. So, but I think I know the nuts and bolts of them. Gosh, I'm such a pansy. Probably, why anyways. 1 in 4 kids. It's actually like 27%. And everything I'm about to tell you is outdated. So it's more than this. This is just the last time the CDC actually, because the perfect storm is brewing and getting worse. So 1 in 4 kids, 27% have chronic illness. The vast majority of those have what's called a multi-system. Like if you have autism, you don't just have neurological stuff. You have digestive issues. You have immune issues, right? So they have multiple chronic illnesses. And 1 in 4 have that. The obesity stats are actually, I believe, more than 1 in 4. Right now, we're trending towards 1 in 2 kids. By the time they are 12, they will be obese. Sensory issues are 1 in 6. So sensory learning behavior issues are 1 in 6. And that's way underestimated. That's actually up more, especially with COVID. Because we talk about pregnancy, fear, and anxiety. It got worse with what we did, right? With that. And so we've actually seen right now in practice, my 3, 4, 5-year-olds have the most stressed nervous systems I've ever seen. And I've had a practice who specializes in finding the most stressed nervous systems in kids. So it stinks. And then autism, they say 1 in 36. Boys born. There's different ways to kind of all statistics, right? That you can kind of spin differently. Yeah. Boys born today. We project the math forward. I've read that 1 in 7 or 1 in 8 boys born today will be diagnosed with autism. And again, it's trending in the exact wrong direction. So let's keep going on the action because we'll get on that too. Because there's a lot of action that is actually also pretty simple and straightforward. It just takes a perspective shift first, mamas. And that's what we got. I have a love-hate relationship with my job. I don't love the word hate. Love-loathe the relationship with my job, where when I deliver the perfect storm news, like I kind of already did, like I would love to skip that chapter.
My face is like, oh, yep.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Thanks, Tony. Doomsdayer. But that leads to action. From that, yes. I'm not a fan of awareness. Information does not create power. Knowledge is not power. Implementation, taking action on it. That's what God directs us to do in the Bible, is move this forward. And we do that with our work too. So we'll get into that.
Absolutely. I'm like, great. Take us there. Take us to the positive. I know you're itching to.
Totally. Okay. So number one thing, my favorite book written by, and you caught on to everybody, and that's why you're so aligned and we get to have this chat. I'm so blessed to be here. Thank you for this. I love this. It's such an opportunity. Yeah. And anybody out there listening, whatever the heck we can do to help you, your kids, and your family, y'all just send us a friggin' message and we're on it. Like, I got a whole team of moms and docs that are just like here to serve. All right. So what happens there's a book by this Wisconsin guy. I live close to Wisconsin. It's awesome. I love it. You go up there. Sometimes my dad bod will be a little out of control and I go to vacation in Wisconsin and I'm like, I'm fine. That's a bad joke. Okay. That was
doing just great. Just great.
Okay, perfect. This Wisconsin chiropractor, Dr. Fred Barge, wrote a book called Life Without Fear. Now, it's a chiropractic book. It's a health book. It's a biblical. I'm going to take the liberties to jump it there because I've read the main book and then I read all these books, and so they're intertwined for me with these principles and perspectives. And that's where I want to start, parents. The more information you get, take it through a perspective of empowerment. Okay. So our platform is an educational, and this is kind of one of the rubs I have against a lot of us, a lot of my homies that are in this natural health. Medicine thrives on fear care and scare care. Too many Instagrammers, too many podcasters, too many chiropractors take the same credo, I don't know what I'm calling, the same approach to natural health. And now all of a sudden we live in fear of gluten and all the things I said. And what you can do first is you can take that information and you can turn it into a lens of empowerment and action. And you can say, son of a gun, this is great, God. You've given me the opportunity to become aware, because awareness can now fuel action. And the first action you want to take for sure is, and I know I'm already tapping into mom's guts distrust of the pediatrician. You don't need to really have me go deep down the rabbit hole. You don't need the flexor. Like, if you just go back to all your conversations if you got a conventional standard pediatrician, that mom gut, I've studied every freaking thing there is in neuroscience and healthcare. And the one thing that I don't think is ever researchable, but I promise you my practice proves out to be the thing we tap into the most, is mom gut, dad gut, parent intuition. Mm-hmm. You've already not trusted another antibiotic. The last 5 didn't work. You're telling me my screaming baby is just going to grow out of this. You're telling me my constant tantrums and toddlers, tantrums and meltdowns and sensory overwhelm, and they can't wear this shirt and they won't try that food and they won't sleep at night. You're telling me this is normal and they're going to grow out of it. You've already not trusted them. So my first action step is to take action upon that mom gut and intuition and find a different doctor. Now, I'm not really, to finish this off, I'm not saying just a different doctor, in a different white coat, because I love them and I pray for that profession to pull their, head out, what? It ain't happening anytime soon. Yeah. You need a different professional who has different principles and perspectives that align with your family's core values. And the moment you find that new doctor, that pediatric, and I would strongly suggest nervous system focused pediatric chiropractor, because our principles and our care are just so effective. Now you have a different approach. Now you get a different plan. Now you get educated. I don't like that word. You get empowered and informed in a very empowering way. And everything changes with that first step forward. And then from there, we got you. We got the adjustments to restore neurology. We can go, a kiddo that went through that perfect storm, we know exactly how to get them back out of it. And then even better, you want to know our real expertise? Keep kids from the storm in the first place, right? Those are the miracles. The ones, Oliver's a miracle, but if we split the hairs, the 3 girls, I'd take theirs over his.
Yeah.
Because
No doubt.
right? Because it doesn't, it's not as podcasty.
Yeah. Well,
but it's
true. Yeah, for sure. So what would you say, Dr. Tony, so the first step, it sounds like, is, okay, trust your intuition, trust your mom gut. God gave you a brain, and this almost like sixth sense, because again, like, you also have the Holy Spirit within you. So even if you listen to this and you're like, not sure how I feel about that still, pray about it. That's all we're asking you to do. Yes. That's a great step one. And also I would encourage you to be praying for direction on who God wants you to go with. And then even, let me ask you this, Dr. Tony, on your website, do you even have a list of people that you recommend in different areas of the country if they're listening to this?
That not only recommend, we've trained them. We trust and verified them. So they are literally trained in the principles and the clinical protocols. Yeah, the website is full of articles, videos, the podcast, and then the directory as well. Yeah.
Amazing. So there you go. There's step number one. Step number two, is there anything you keep talking about the perfect storm? What, just from like what we're feeding our kids, any like supplements, anything like that, what can we be doing to just start to make those tiny shifts that help educate our kids on health, so they don't feel like by the time they're 12, they're obese, they don't know what to do, they feel terrible, and they're like, once they even become teenagers, they're like, well, Mom, why didn't you teach me these toolkits?
Totally.
Back it out.
Oh, I got you. I love this. And remember, God, I am an Iowa farm boy. So we can, because it is overwhelming. Y'all in those natural, the Birmingham Crunchy Moms Facebook group or the Crystal Lake one. And you're like, hey, I'd like to help my kid with this. And you check back 30 minutes later and you have to do 387 things perfectly. And you're just like, close the book. Never
mind, I'm out.
Yeah, I didn't mean to ask. Delete. Yeah. So back to Cheez-Its, right? And so it's overwhelming. My goodness. I study this and live this. I've got the job as a professional and a parent. And so we talk about this all the time in the practice, and I love this. So mamas, I want you to hear me on this. We can make it simple, okay? And I want to give you the principles. So there's something called the Pareto principle. Probably heard about it in business. 20% of what you do gives you 80% of your results. And so here's what is going to give you 80% of your results. Number one, you got to really, really, really trust that intuition and have a doctor that you trust, okay? Because there's a partner. We don't have a dictatorship practice. We have a partnership style practice. Number two, live clean, eat clean. Kids and chemicals do not mix. And you're like, which chemicals are worse? All of them. They should not be inhaled. They should not be ingested. They should not be injected. Chemicals, preservatives, dyes, pesticides, aluminums, all of them, the way these chemicals that are in this world, they're in cleaners, they're in foods, they're in snacks, they're in pretty much everywhere. But what's awesome is it's way easier for me to share that with you today than it was with my patients 15 years ago, because there's a lot more products, there's a lot more foods, there's a lot more restaurants, there's a lot more availability. God bless him for bringing this to the world and all the people that have made that happen. But chemicals get into a kid's system and they mimic stress and inflammation within the nervous system. So chemicals, more than anything, really trigger chronic disease. Okay, they really trigger what's called a sympathetic response because the nervous system doesn't recognize them. So it goes into fight or flight. And then that triggers a pro-inflammatory reflex. So get rid of chemicals first. So my kids know, hey, if we're having a cheeseburger, French fries, and ice cream because it's the 4th of July and we threw a fun party, we got the meat from the grass-fed family Christian farm down the road, okay? We got the buns from the local sourdough. I mean, my whole life is sourdough now. It's not helping me lose weight, but it's really tasty.
But it's delicious.
You put it in pretty much everything, right? And, you're making it yourself. Clean ingredients, or from the place that you trust, it was clean ingredients. So that is where I go first. Live clean. Don't worry about carnivore, paleo, and perfect, because that ain't attainable. Okay, that is not attainable. We want to live and be healthy. And then number 3, and actually a lot of times I kind of put this first. If somebody's like, which matters most, I'd probably shove this one up a notch. Get outside and move. Winter too. I have a harder time getting my kids inside in the winter when they're out here sledding on the hills and doing that than I do. Don't let anything get in the way of getting outside. You go out and you don't, this isn't a workout. You don't need to, CrossFit kids in the park. Go outside. Get them sweating, get them moving, get them into vitamin D, get them eating dirt. Josh's book, Dr. Josh Hack's book, our best buddy, Eat Dirt, read that book. Read that book. There's a reason farm kids are healthier, okay? And it's not because we wear steel-toed shoes, Wranglers, and cut-off T-shirts that are tucked in. That helps. But it's because we ate dirt growing up. That's a big one.
I love it.
One of my favorite books for this conversation.
So number one, I'm going to link all that he's talking about, including these books, down in the show notes. So just scroll down on whatever podcast platform that you're listening in. And then also, I'm going to link back to a prior episode with the founder of Timber Nook, which is an outdoor play facility. She's so cool what she's doing. And she has talked so much about why it's important to get outside on the podcast for. So I'll link to that episode. And then also I'm going to link for my Birmingham girls and beyond, Dr. John Palmer here in Birmingham. He's who we go to for the chiropractor. And then also for my nutritional needs, all the things. But y'all, this is unbelievable how much knowledge you've dropped us already, Dr. Tony. And I can't believe we're quickly running out of time. So let me ask you, are there any other practical takeaways that you would want for moms to hear from you today, or anything else that you feel like, man, God just laid it in my heart while we were talking and I need to say this? And if there's not, that's cool. Just wanted to ask. Yeah, I think, being a small town guy, sometimes I forget about how influential this is. Community. So I love this podcast. I think back to even the introduction, like it matters that you belong to a community of moms and people, that are, and then your kids, because guess what? If we do, guess who's in that minivan with us? Them kids are going to grow up in a community, and kids who do not have community, and then be choosy in your community. Make sure that those values are there. Those Christian values are there. Those kingdom-driven values are there. That biblical worldview is there. Make sure that the health principles, like we're super choosy. We don't have a big network. We have an incredible network, of friends and people. We have a powerful, influential network. And y'all, some of you maybe have younger kids and older kids, and, it's all different, right? It's all the same and it's all different. Stages are happening, and all the things I prayed for and all the things we should, like, I'm seeing my 2 teenagers now just choose wisely. I watch them do it, and I'm blown away by it. And I'm so thankful to God for it, because you never know if your plan's going to work out. So true.
Yeah.
Yes.
And with kids, nothing matters more than that. And I just watch them, they're choosing their friends based upon, is that friend, faith fueled? Does that friend, engage in health? Are they active? So yeah, community. If you don't, and I think in today's world, get yourself in one digitally, like this one, and then get yourself in one locally. They're in Birmingham, they're in Crystal Lake, they're in Paulina, or if they're not, leave you with this. This is what God put on my heart. Build community. Start one. You listening right now, you empowered, you BA mama, like start one. Start one, because you need it, so do others.
Absolutely. I will say that while you were talking, I was like, I wanted to read this Bible verse. It popped into my mind. It's 1 Corinthians 1:10. It says, I appeal to you, brothers and sisters, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that all of you agree with one another in what you say, and that there be no divisions among you, but that you be perfectly united in mind and thought. And I know that we're going to be, by the time this podcast airs, we're going to be hurtling into the thick of election season and division and strife and all those things. But we that are believers are called higher, y'all, to stay out of the mudslinging, to stay in with people that are believing what you're believing. And so if you don't have it yet, like, this is so small, but we have done this in our community and it's huge. We started a new school for my boys because we wanted to pull out of what we were like, this isn't working for us anymore, what's happening in the public school. So now that we're somewhere new, we were like, okay, but we have to build a new community here. And since we don't live in the same neighborhood, like, how do we make this work? So one thing that a friend of mine, who now is a dear friend, she said that she and her husband started brainstorming how they could do the same thing. And they decided to ask all the boys, because I have 2 boys, all the boys in this grade whose parents would be interested in doing a boys Bible club once a month. It's not every week. It's not even every other week. It's once a month. And so we started a group me of those that were interested. And you want to know what? Like maybe 100 people said they were interested and only 15 people show up consistently every month. But now, because of that, I have come up with my closest friends in that new community. We know that we all have the same biblically driven mindset. We know each other's kids, friends, family, and we think it's so important that as the boys get older, if there's something that, God forbid, they don't want to come talk to me or Eric about, there's other adults and teenagers in their lives now where they can go get that advice from. And was it easy to start? Was it easy to show up and not know anyone? No. But has God used it to be one of the biggest blessings in my life currently? Yes. So be brave, be bold, expect miracles, and ask lots of questions.
Yeah. Game on.
Yes. So all that said, Dr. Ebel, tell everybody where they can find you online. And then I would love for you to also answer the question I ask every guest, and that is, how do you reset?
Yeah, you got it. So we are all over the place because I'm just so young and vibrant. And now, just kidding, I'm in my 40s. So Facebook, all right?
That is young and vibrant. Whoa. You are young and vibrant.
We've got an awesome Facebook page. If you search Dr. Tony and the PX Docs Network there. Instagram is awesome. We have an incredible Instagram team. We have so much fun there. So that's at PX Docs. And then please, because I am loving this podcast life. As you can tell, I love to talk about the mission that God gave me. We infuse a lot of energy and a lot of humor and a lot of awesomeness into it. We got this rock star coming on here and going to be a part of the Experience Miracles podcast. So you can find that with me, Dr. Tony Ebel, on any of those. And then the website. Like I'm still a little bit old school too. I love to write those, just like Dr. Josh, really built his platform on just incredible articles. So those of you that love to read, the website, pxdocs.com is there. And reset for me is family, farm, faith. It's we're out here, like we were talking about before we turned on the recording. God gave us this 20-acre farm outside in the boonies a little bit. And the moment I pull up the lane, everything starts to reset for me. Then I come into the house and the kids are right there and the hugs happen and the connections happen. We have these beautiful places, where it's coffee in the morning and the Bible's within reach, or we can go for a walk. And so reset for me really infuses nature, fitness. I hate running. My wife loves running, but I get a rucksack. So short, stocky people, weighted nuts, right? Totally. It's like God made this for husky folks like me. And so that's been good. And it's just out there, man, just resetting, recharging. And we do just enough of that. And it's game on, ready to get back and do the work that God called us to do. And not just kind of sort of do the work. I've got donkeys here on the farm, so I won't swear, but we go full donkey. There's a whole donkey approach. Yeah. Whole donkey. No half donkey measures in our world.
I am so jealous. I want donkeys and a farm so bad. I really hope that that's in my future. Lord, let it be.
Do not, everyone listening, you too, homie, do not stop. We got goats too. Now, they're different. I'd recommend chiropractic care and not goats, but I would get donkeys. Okay.
It's good to know.
Those that have goats right now are like, he's preaching now. Now he's telling the truth.
The babies are so cute though, but then maybe once they get older.
Same as a puppy, homie. Same as a puppy. So cute. And then you're like, whoa, Lord.
Yes, I love it. Well, Dr. Tony, it was a joy to have you on today. Thank you so very much. You guys go ahead and scroll down. If you will, leave me a 5-star review and leave a rating. That would be incredible. And then also make sure to go check out Dr. Tony's podcast. Everything will be linked down for you in the show notes. You guys have such a blessed day. Don't forget to go ask the questions. Pray about what you think you should do with who you're partnering with in your kids' health. It's important. You are setting them up for future health, their future generations. This is big stuff, y'all. So if you have questions, please reach out. Dr. Tony's team is very fast at responding on Instagram. They send you lots of resources, so don't be afraid to reach out. And if you enjoyed this podcast episode, screenshot it. If you'll upload it to Instagram stories, share it with a friend. It's important. We love you guys. Have a great day. Okay, friend, that's a wrap on this week's episode. If you're not already following me on Instagram, make sure to screenshot this episode, share it to your stories, and tag @Healthy by Heather Brown so I can connect with you in my DMs. It truly brings me so much joy to see how these episodes impact you. Make sure to subscribe so we can see you back here next Tuesday for our weekly show. In case you don't know, your downloads, ratings, and reviews are the actual lifeblood of this podcast, and it helps spread the word to your friends and family. So So please hit the download button on this episode and leave a 5-star rating if you super loved it. And if we're really BFFs, you'll spread the happy and text this podcast link to someone who needs to hear it today for some encouragement. Scroll down to the show notes on this episode to see any and all links mentioned, freebies to fuel your health goals, prayer-related episodes, and the 7-day free trial of my exclusive membership where I personally coach and cheer you on in whole health. While you're there, make sure to check out my Amazon storefront with healthy snacks, my favorite look for less workout outfits, and books and devotionals that challenge me in my faith. If you ever need to find my Amazon storefront, just Google Healthy by Heather Brown Amazon and it will come up. Have a great day, Girl Gang.